Hi everyone. So today I want to do a tutorial of something that I saw a glimpse of real quick on a Hunkydory video. If I can find the video, I'll try to link it, but basically I'm going to make this up on my own. It's just something I saw and I thought, well, I can do something like that. So I will link whatever products I'll be using in the description box. Those will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items to those links. One of those new links possibly could be to Ecstasy Crafts, which you guys know is a recent affiliate that I was able to pick up, and they give us a 10% off code for people to use, so that information will be in the description box, but the code is VianneyCreates, so just the letter V, and then creates all together, and that'll give you 10% off your purchase, and that's my affiliate code. So always great when we get a little discount there. So I don't know the sizing of this or what they actually did. It's just like a thing you saw in the description box, like a card, like a tent card. Basically, it's gonna stand up, but it's also gonna have like a little gift box built into it. So it doesn't really have to be a Christmas thing. It's gonna be an everyday thing, or you know, it'd be cute if it was like if you're having like a tea or some kind of get together, whatever, and you had like little placeholders, or I think it'd be really cute. Is that what they called? You put someone's name on it. Anyway, who cares? So I have these guys, and I thought I'll get this paper pack because I recently picked this up, the Christmas Traditions. It doesn't have to be, this kind of paper stuff. You can use whatever you have. It's just that their paper, the Adorable Sculpture, is super sturdy, so you always want something sturdy. And then I thought I can get some pretty papers from this, just to build up this interesting card gift. I don't even know what to call it, to be honest. We'll see. You'll have seen in the title by now. But so all I'm going to do is go through these. So this paper pack is like I said, Christmas Traditions. I'm sorry, I have a cough drop in my mouth. And it has this beautiful, and it's not really the matte paper, but it isn't super, super shiny in my opinion, other than the foil. Really pretty. I mean, so these are going to be things that we can decorate with. Right now what I'm interested in doing, oh my gosh, you guys. Look at that. And this one actually has decoupage ability. Oh, this is so cute. It's like a little advent calendar kind of almost. Maybe we'll use something like that. I don't know. Oh, that'd be so cute if you can. No, that'd be a lot. I would say if you did a bunch of those, that would be a lot to make them each work out that way. But choir, more traditional here. So what I was thinking about grabbing pretty papers from this. And a lot of times the papers coordinate back to the toppers, and I do have extra packs of these. I picked up a couple packs, so I'm okay with cutting some up. And even this would be a good one because it's kind of basic. Maybe I'll use that. These are facing backwards, that's all. And with these kits, they do have inserts that are set aside that you can put on the inside of your card or on the back of your card or wherever it is that you want just to finish it off. And funny enough, they didn't include them when I got my order, which I didn't realize till later. But I've already contacted Hunkydory because I got this through them specifically, and they're on their way. So they responded really quickly if that's something you're interested in. And I know Craft Stash, I had some issues with packages having been open, and they have also refunded that because one of the things that was missing, because there's really one package that was missing an item, is not in stock anymore. So they also took care of it really quickly. So that's nice. I mean, look at this, how pretty. I mean, even this paper. I think I'll use that one, but, they're all very pretty. We'll see. So, I'm going to go through this and see if I can find a piece of paper that coordinates back to this really nicely, and we will get started. Since I don't really know what size they did this, I want to do like a 5x7, I think. So that means our paper needs to be 10, right? Well, 10 across the top by 7. And of course you score that down the center. Now, what we are going to do in the card base is just basically make a card, but it's going to be layered with a mat. And, when you make a pop-up, sometimes it's like it doesn't quite do what you want if there's two areas that are stuck together. So what I'm going to do is I'll have a base card, which will be this kind of olive green paper. So again, 10 by 7. And then I want some matte layers to go inside of that, so I'll use this pretty paper. And so just inside that, I'll probably make it very close, how I like to do that. So let's say matte layers for the front and the back, okay? So 2 matte layers that are going to be 4 7/8 by 6 7/8. If you don't like working at eighths, you can do that 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, right? So we need 2 of those. I'm gonna cut it from this pretty paper. Then we're gonna cut into this. So I'm not quite at the part where we're gonna make something, but what you're gonna do is built in that little gift box. Now, how big do you want your gift box? So in my mind, I'm already thinking like if I made a 2-inch gift box, it's kind of small. So like 2.5 inches, a little bigger. 3 inches is gonna take up a lot of space on here. Can't really load it down either because the thing's gonna fall in possibly, right? It depends on what you're putting in there. So let's say we want a 2.5 inch box. So if I have 2.5 inches on the 7-inch side, I'm already removing 2.5 inches. That means I'm leaving 4.5, right? 4.5 inches. So basically we're gonna cut in here somewhere to put our little box. I know it'll make sense in just a minute, and then we're scoring here. So if this is 2.5 inches inside of here, how much do you want to leave on this side and this side? So we have 4.5, I said. So if we do 1.5 and 3, let's see, 3, 2.5, and 1.5, that's kind of a wide spot. Yeah, why not? Okay, so we should do this 1.5. There's space here. 2.5, that's, and 3, 4, leaving 3 inches over here, right? Okay. And this little area that we're going to cut into and fold is going to hold our little box. And if our little box is 2.5 inches, then this whole area needs to be, this needs to be cut about 5 inches, right? 5 inches worth of cut, let's say. That doesn't mean I'm going to cut it 5 inches. I'm just saying I need that to be cut 5 inches worth, and then scored at 2.5 inches in here, and then 2.5 inches from back here, which would be probably 7.5, right? 7.5. I'm talking about the score line, that score line. Okay, it'll make more sense once we get there. I don't want to cut this beautiful paper and be wrong, so I'm totally writing these things down just so we have that info. And I think that's it. So again, this is the first time for me making something like this. I have no idea. We'll make the box in just a minute, but we want to make the base of the card first. So let's get that going. So I'm going to cut this 10 by 7. And I'm going to cut this 2 matte layers. Of course, this paper is super pretty. I can put that on the back and put this on the front. So I'm going to cut it in a way that's 4 7/8. Sorry. This way, 4 7/8, right? And then 6 7/8. So I'm going to take the whole sheet and cut it 6 7/8 first. That way I preserve a good long strip of this paper for something else. And then I'll cut my 4 7/8 from either side. I'll be right back. 6 7/8. I'm just cutting the 4 7/8 off either side of this. And you can make it one big matte layer and score it, but again, I just don't like the way that ends up feeling, you know? So I am going to need like a paper trimmer. I could have used a paper trimmer already, but for now I'm going to put this to the side here. So yeah, I just preserve this, the length of it, just in case I want to use it for something else. We have these pieces. And basically, I think I'm going to go ahead and just score this completely because I am going to cut this area, so I don't care if it's scored for now. So let's do a score at 5 inches. So 7 by 10. And I'm just going to use this because I can score on this, but if you want to bring out a scoreboard and score there, that's fine too. I'm just not going to use this. Obviously, that'll cut it. And I need a scoring tool. So I'm just going to go down right here and carefully do this because there's a very thin line right in here for the cutting. So again, this is adorable scoreable paper, and I'm just being careful. You can score on the other side too if you wish. Okay, that is my first score line. And what I'm going to do now is go ahead and just add my mats. Okay, I know it seems kind of weird, so I'm going to put this to the side. And I'm not going to quite bend it, but if you wanted to, you can. We're going to take these guys, and these are going to be our matte layers. And I think I'm going to put this as close up to the bend as I can. Although if you wanted to, you can just split the difference because that's what we matted it for. But I'm going to bring it up a little bit closer, just like that. Okay? But, you know, it's nice and straight if you want to do that. You can corner round. Well, you know what I have? I have a fun rounding weird, but I have this one that does like a stub and a scallop. The scallop's kind of interesting, but let's do the stub side. So just to give a little interest, we're going to go in here. And you can do this just on this part, or you can do it on both layers, right? If you want just that and then have those corners, or on all of it. So I think I'm going to do on all of it. Just, I don't know, something fun. And I think on the project they had looked like they were corner rounded. So I'm going inverse of that. And again, the reason I talked about the sizing and when I go through all that stuff is so that you can make your own. If you don't like working with 5x7, you can make your own in a smaller card, maybe A2 size card base. But just know, if you're going to do A2 size card base, you're going to have to make a much smaller box, or it might still work. This paper is super sturdy. I think that's the reason it works for something like this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and glue these down. Oh my gosh. You know I like using wet glues. So, let me see. I'm going to use this art glitter glue. Just put that on there. Now we are going to cut into this and score in here somewhere, so I'm going to go ahead and put lots of glue. And again, not too thick. I don't want it to warp my paper. I don't think this one warps paper too much, but just be careful with your glues when you have a treated paper. Okay, so there's that one. And I'm going to glue this one on the back, and I'll be right back. So this is still wet. I'm not going to manipulate it too much right now, but this is basically our base. It's just a card, but I just haven't folded it yet. So let's say this is the front or this is the back. It doesn't matter. It's the same either way. Let's say this is my front piece. This one. Sure. Okay. And again, we talked about earlier, I was going to make cut lines and score marks. So whatever you want to score first is fine. On this 10-inch side, we need to score 2.5 inches up and then 1.5 inches in. So we'll talk about that in a minute. So I'm going to move this over. And what did I say? This is my front. So, okay. So let's turn it this way, the long way. Sorry, I'm trying to get more of this. Don't cut that. In my area here so you can see. So the 10 inches, 1.5 inches in. So I'm going to bring this over to 1.5 inches. The edge of my card. And thankfully, you know, this grid runs the whole length so I can see that I'm pretty straight there. 1.5 inches. And I need to cut, and then I need to score down here. So it's up to you if you want to cut first, then do your score lines or whatever it is. But I'm going to start at 2.5 inches. Sorry, I just realized I really need to get this in frame. So this is the bottom of my card. So if we're looking at it like this, 10 inches by 7. At 1.5 inches in, we already lined that up. At 2.5 inches from the bottom. So if I'm looking at this as 10 inches, I need to start at 7.5, right? Because it's 2.5 inches. So it's 7.5 right here. I'm going to put my little notcher down. And I'm pushing in. Okay, so I'm cutting into both pieces. I need to go all the way up, leaving 2.5 inches down here. So I'm going to cut all the way to the 2.5 inch line, or mark. So I'm pushing, you know, delicately, because I did just glue this and I haven't really let it dry, all the way down to where this little area here matches up with 2.5. And I'm being very careful about this, you guys. 2.5 right there. I'm going to bring it back down. It looks like, it feels like I cut through both pieces. But, you know, you can always pick it up and check, of course. Yep. All right. So that was the first cut. We're going to score here, but we'll do that in a minute. The next cut is going to be, if this is going to be 2.5 inches plus the 1.5, that's 4 inches. So we're going to line this up at 4 inches, the edge of my card at 4 inches. And again, bring it down to 7.5, my little pointer here. 7.5. And again, cut all the way up to 2.5. And I'm pushing in really well. Again, I'm trying to cut through both layers, obviously. And then bring it back down. That felt pretty good. Okay. So I have those two cuts. I know, guys. It'll be fine. So we're going to open this up. The reason I need this to be 2.5 is because our box base is going to be 2.5. I'm going to join these together. And it might be cool. Maybe you like something different, you know, change your numbers. Whatever it is that you want. Okay, so now I'm going to turn this in the other direction. We are going to make one cut, which is actually just from here to here, just within here. So really that's at 3 inches, right? And then right down the middle. So I am going to cut that. You can cut it afterwards, but from here, since it's 3 inches in, it's actually at the number 4 mark, right? So from right there, all I'm doing is cutting up to 1.5. Because you guys, it's basically from the cut line to cut line. Just in the center, cut line to cut line. And then all we're going to do here, if that is open, all right, great, is some scoring. Now you can do this here, you can bring it to your scoring board, but what happens is, I'm going to line this up at 2.5 inches, 2.5, that's basically where we cut. Sometimes on your scoreboard you can't see what you're doing when you're down in here, you know. So I'm going to take my scoring tool, and from that cut line, I'm going to push down to the next cut line as well as I can, because we're trying to really get that going, obviously, through both layers. Okay, and same thing over here. I'm going to bring this back over here, and now it means I need to put this at 7.5 inches, right, the edge of my card, just to get that going right there, and cut line where it ends to the other one. I hope I haven't lost you guys. This is a different thing. It's kind of odd, even. Okay, so now I can fold this right on our score line. We have our card. You have this weird little opening here, or cut. So all we're going to do with this is I'm going to fold it in. And again, we do have 2 layers of paper, so you know, they don't want to sit together. They don't want to play. And then this is the front of my card. Now, you can still choose which is the front of your card. If this is the front, then your box is going to be over here on the right. For me, I'm going to put it on the left. So I'm going to bend this in also. Okay, so that's all we're doing, and you can do a little bit more, obviously. I'm going to really get this in here. And we're going to glue these together. And that made your little opening for your gift box to sit. That means your gift box has to be at least 2.5 inches high. You can honestly make this shorter if you want. It's just whatever you want to do, and still put a gift box that's higher. You know, that means my gift box, maybe I'll make it like 3 inches, maybe 4 inches tall. I don't know. We'll see what we end up doing. But the base is definitely 2.5 inches square, right? So we have 2.5 inches here, 2.5 inches here. Now, when we glue these together, I'm just going to glue them together. That means it's not going to bend, right? If you want this to bend still, and I don't know why you would, because then you have a gift box on the side, but you have a card that's flat, which is just fine. Glue it together, maybe put some score lines in here, and then you can squish it down and close it, right? If that's what you want. But for now, it's kind of like a sturdy base. I don't even know how to explain it. So I'm just putting this on here, and the only tip I'm giving here is that if this is the front of my card, I am putting the pretty fold in the front, right? And then this part in the back. So I'm going to hold this together for just a minute, and we're going to make a little box to pop in here, and we're done. Setting up, I just put some little clippies. We need to make our box. And so the base of my box needs to be 2.5 inches here and here, right, in both directions. And also you can be whatever you want. If you want to make a more rectangular coming out the front or the back, you can do that too, but that's fine. And I want it to be at least 3 inches tall, to be a little bit taller than this, I think. So let's say we need 3-inch sides, right? So 3 here, 3 here, 3 here, and 3 here. So that is actually going to be 6, 7, 8.5 inch square. And then for our lid, you know, how deep do you want the top of your lid? I usually do 1/2 inch lids, maybe 1 inch. 1/2 inch is kind of small, huh? Let's do 1/2 inch. So my lid is going to be, again, for a 2.5 inch square box. I need 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch here, 1/2 inch, right? Half. And so that means we have 3.5 inch square. This is what I need to cut for my lid, a 3.5 inch square piece of paper, and for the base, 8.5 inch square piece of paper, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, a bit of a hiccup. I forgot these are A4 size papers, so I can only do, you know, 8.25 inch square, unless you have a 12 by 12 paper. Like if you're working obviously with other papers that aren't European, you can do whatever you want. So I'm going to change this a little bit. They're not going to be 3-inch high walls. They're going to be, let's just make it easy. I was going to say I can max out my paper 8.25, I guess. Inch square or 8-inch square, but let's do 8.25 and see what that number might look like. If it's kind of a funky number, then I'll take it off. Funny enough, the piece that I gutted from another project was like a 3.5 inch square. Oh well, I had to cut a brand new one because I didn't do a nice job of it, so it was kind of crazy. So this is basically our little lid. How cute is that? And this is the base because we're having really high walls. Now, again, I'm going to redo this, but if I was using other paper or, you know, American, like US type paper, I would definitely do the 8.5, okay? So I'd have 3-inch high walls. But now I got to bring everything in basically 1/4 inch. So that's fine. Actually, it doesn't even matter. Well, it kind of does. I'll get you that number in a minute when we go to actually score. Okay, I'm just going to put some things to the side. and we'll get this going. So unfortunately, because since all we're doing is taking off a 1/4 inch, that means we're gonna have to work in 7/8. If you don't want to do that, just again do 8.5, but you're gonna have to use standard paper. But if you're using the Hunkydory paper and you want to copy exactly this, you're gonna have to do something different, or do 8 inch and then just you know, do your numbers from there. It won't have a 7/8. I don't think it'll be quarters at that point. But I'm maxing out the 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. So we're gonna take our little lid, which is here, and on the Hunkydory scoreboard it says box lid. Same thing on like the what's it called? If you're using a Crafter's Companion one, it says the same thing, like your lid's over here and your base is over here, but basically you're turning it to get that going, okay? With this one, we're just gonna go from left to right and then right to left for the box base. So for our lid, I'm gonna turn this over. And remember, we still have 1/2 inch sides is all we're doing on this. So again, this is a 3.5 inch square. I don't have to change anything on that. I'm just changing the height of the edge of these sides, okay? We didn't change anything about the base, so this is perfectly fine. I'm turning it over just because it's a really nice little paper, and I don't want to mess it up. And we're doing 1/2 inches. So this is lid, so we're always just going to do lid on the regular side. So 1/2 inch. Again, I can just go over here and do 3 inches, but I'm just going to turn it, and every turn I'm going to do 1/2 inch. It's not as important with the lid side because the lid is the true measurement. On the base is when you do something kind of weird because there's an extra little like 1/16 of an inch here that you're going to be popping into. So with this one, like I said, I can just do 1/2 inch and I can do 3 and then turn it and say 1/2 inch and 3, and that's fine. On this other one, you're definitely going to want to turn it every time because this little piece of 1/16 of an inch is what's going to make it so that it's a little bit smaller than your lid. Okay, so the lid will fit on top even though they're exact same measurements. You're pushing it into this so that little piece of a 1/16 of an inch makes it just that much tinier. So if I was to do that and then I go over here and score the next one, you're already accounting for that 1/16 here, but you're not getting it here, so it's going to be off. You have to turn your thing for everyone. So I guess in a way, just turn it every time so you don't get confused, but I'm just letting you know you don't have to, okay, for the lid. So box base. Over here, I'm doing 2 7/8, which is going to be painful because let's say 2, and I guess not that painful because 7/8 is just 3 inches. It's the notch before 3 inches. Okay, so 2 7/8. And again, I just give it some really good pushes. I do it a few times because this paper is thick, but I also want to treat it with like just a lot of care. So now the next one, 2 7/8, which is right here. What's weird is that you're going backwards, so it's really, I'm scoring at 9 1/8. But if you're looking at it this way, you're counting down 2 7/8. Okay, butt it up again. 2 7/8 or 9 1/8. And another one right here at, again, 2 7/8. Now, this is a tall box, so we're going to have a lot of material. I just want to make sure I did that right. As far as, yeah, so it ends up being, this was funny because like I told you, it takes a 1/16 inch off every time. So it ends up being 2 3/8 instead of 2 1/2 square box so that the lid will fit right. So hopefully that information will help you. If you happen to not have a scoring tool, you're just going to have to account for that. So I'm going to show you real quick. Generally when we make our little lids, we are going to come in here. This thing's sticky. I've been cutting foam with it. And we cut away that little notched edge. So we cut in here. And then I notch away some. Ooh, oh, I almost hurt my beautiful paper. And then I notch away some of this, right? So I did that one a little bit differently. But let's say we just take a little piece away. Right? So when I come over here, I basically do the same thing again. And I don't know why I did this opposite the way you normally do, but okay, I cut here. And then let's say we notch that away. And then I come in here. And notch that away. Or however you want to do it. Okay? And that's because these are kind of small and it's not a big deal when I go to fold this. Oh, the paper feels so nice. When I go to fold this, this little piece comes in here, and we notched it away so it tucks in nicely, right, to make your little lid. So for the box base, we have really high sides, which I normally don't do, right? So you can think about this. you're obviously notching away all these corners, just like we did right now. So do you want to keep it all and make it a sturdier box? Do you want to notch most of it away? Usually I cut up here and then I notch away. I guess that's why that one felt funny to me. So let's say, come in here. And since this is also very tall, maybe you want to do this on a trimmer, a paper trimmer. So you have a nice straight edge for sure. Do you want to notch just a little bit and keep this whole thing? Do you want to notch away just a little tiny bit? Do you want to cut away like a whole tab? You know what I'm saying? So cut into here and make a tab. That's up to you. I guess we'll just make it sturdy. So I'm just going to take that away. Okay. And again, that's why I did the other one a little bit opposite. I cut the top, which I usually do it this way. Okay, so I'm going to go around the whole base. I cut into that one. Ooh, a little bit too much. Yeah, this is different because, again, it's really high. Now I make them a little shorter. And then the last one here, and my kids are awake now and upstairs, so you might hear them because I didn't really tell them I was going to come back on here. I really want to get this project done. I'm super excited about it. I want to see what that looks like. Okay, so we have that. And then you're going to turn it here. All here. Again, it is super extra because it's so big, right? Okay, so let's fold everything, score everything, and here. Okay, so now when I bring this in, I'm pretty much got to notch it away anyway, just because they are much longer, right? The 2.5 there. This is 2.5 and this is 3 inches, so it's a different feeling. So again, if you want to come in and actually just make a glue tab, you can do that. If not, what we can do is come in here and now you can just cut it away like a little bit. So let's see, we can just eyeball what that might look like, right? And we can be much more exact about it if you wanted to cut that down. But for now, I'm just going to go around and just cut off a good amount of that, right? That little extra on all the tabs. Okay, I'll be right back. So we're just going to put our lid and little box together. So again, with these guys, this is going to be slippery. It's going to take a minute to set up because of the slickness of it. But we can do that. Where's my little clippies? I have some here. If I ever use clippies, I always make sure that this is nice and lined up, like nice and flush. And then I take a clip and I put it right at the edge so that it's really holding on that corner. And I do the same thing all around. And then with this guy, we're just going to have these big edges, and I always like to use a wet glue, but if you want to use glue runners or something like that, go for it. And we're making a tall, that is so cute, thing. So again, just glue tab in, glue tab in, glue tab in, right? And it's going to be something like that. That's what our box will look like, okay? So I'll be right back. It's getting a little warm in here. All right, there's our lid. Here's our base. Again, super tall. Look at that. Again, they should fit right on there. You know, I got a little glue here and there. Now, let's bring this guy back over. And this is the first time I ever made this. We will see what happens here. So this sits in there. Oh my gosh, you guys, how cute. Funny enough, because, you know, we did this on the box base side. Let me hold that down a little bit. The glue's still wet. It's a little bit smaller than this opening, right? So we can keep that in mind next time, because like I said, this is the first time I've done this. I had no idea how they fashioned it. I just went with it. Now, if you really wanted to, you could glue this down on this little area. And look at it, it fits perfectly. And then you have that little guy just sitting there, or you can leave it like this and have it as a gift that, you know, comes off. But to finish decorating, because I think this is kind of plain, obviously, I just went with the same green paper that we use there. We have this guy. If I had this paper, which I do have another pack, but I don't want to bust it open just to get a little bit for here. I think this is going to be busted out, guys, because you can do this with any paper, right? I did pull out this pack from the kit there, because I thought this was cute. So if we put Merry Christmas, ooh, look at it right on top. And you know what? I would like to matte that. And since we have plenty of this green matte paper, like the pieces we cut, I think that'll have to come from this one. What I'll do is I'll cut a little matte layer for that, and it can just pop up. So let's say something like that. If you have some square dies that are like decorative, that'd be really cute. So let's use that guy. And then, well, let me do that one really quickly, because this is, what is this? Let's see, it's an inch. Oh, of course, it's an inch and like almost 5/8. So I'll do Sorry, I will do a 1 3/4 inch square. I think that'll mat with plenty of green. Just, you know, why not? Ooh, I guess the other thing you do is also echo this kind of thing, but it's okay. I'm just gonna make a little something. So 1 3/4 inch square from that, and I'll bear back. So for this one, just to wrap it up, we'll just glue this on here, and then I'll pop the whole thing on top of the little box. So like here, I'll put some dimensionals on the back of this. Okay, we can decorate the whole sides, of course, all around if you would like. I think since this is kind of like a long edge right here, let's say we have this on here. Again, we're gonna put some dimensionals. Maybe this guy, huh? Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, so I will also matte and layer this one. Look at that. Oh, that's like perfect. So what I'm gonna do is probably glue it down and then just cut this other side off with my trimmer, okay? So I will be right back. Okay guys, so let's just get, like I said, some dimensionals on this guy. Super easy. I just glue that down and then just cut the other side, and it actually ended up being, I think, yeah, 2 1/4 inches, like perfectly on that topper that was in that kit. And then I think I'm going to grab one more sentiment from this other little guy. How fun is this? Oh my gosh, you guys, I have so many ideas now swirling around my head. We will definitely do more of these. So the next one I'm thinking is maybe like a slimline, but with like little 1 inch square boxes, or I don't know if they have to be 1 inch, that's kind of small, but like maybe 1 1/2, right? Because the slimline is 8 1/2 inches square. Look at this, okay. And then of course we're gonna decorate that guy. I think I'm just gonna glue this down, and of course this thing is spectacular, so I'm gonna have to hold on to it until actual Christmas time. Oh, you can even pop it up. What do you guys think? Oh man, so many ideas. Ooh, that's really fun. I guess I'll put it down here, but honestly I would love to pop it up a little bit, but maybe for the next one. Okay, so let's put that there. Okay, and then let me dig through this, and I'm already losing pages here, and see, oh, if there's something we can bring in. This is an interesting color. I don't think they have a green one in here, like that dark green. They have black, bright red, tan color, a minty green, purple, gray. Yeah, so let me see. Believe in the magic of Christmas. What are we doing? Joy to the world. Let me go through this and I'll pick another little sentiment that we can pop in here. Okay, I'll be right back. Kind of interesting. That saddle color of that one that I liked is not everywhere. They have brown, they have like a beige, but this one that I was leaning towards is more like a saddle color, you know what I'm saying? But this one's like a brown, still kind of chocolatey. I think it goes with the rest of what's going on here. So let's just, I guess, put some like this. I do not know how I'm going to take a picture of this for you guys. I kind of want this over here, but then, yeah, I'm just going to put it right down here. You always know I want to do a little more over the top here, but we will see. All right, so I will try to get some images of this. What do you guys think is out there? But it's very cute. So now we have this little gift box here that can hold, quite a few candies. Again, you can make it shorter. You can do whatever you want. So right now I made it taller because I wanted it to stick out of the top. But if you want it shorter, this is about 2 1/2 inches here. I mean, you can kind of gauge what that would be and make up your own numbers, of course. So really fun. I saw that and I was like, I need to try this. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll have links as appropriate in the description box. And, oh, you're probably wondering, well, you could have used one of these. Yeah, I could have. I just wanted to use that paper pad with the other sentiments. So whatever you want. I mean, honestly, we can put things all around. I mean, there's just a lot of ways to finish this guy up. But I'll try to get some images, and I'll see you guys at the next one. I'll try to right now insert a picture. I'll try to do a template just so you guys remember what I did for the actual base of the thing. And then, of course, this is pretty easy. It's just making a box, but that'll come up in the next shot. All right, guys, bye now. Guys, I thought I could get away without coming back and talking about this, but I'm going to talk about it real quick because I took pictures of it, but I forgot one thing because it's kind of weird, is that you get to cut this right here afterwards, right? So I took pictures. Hopefully you can see that what it says. It's 10 by 7. You're going to score it at 5 inches, of course. You're going to make a cut line 2 1/2 inches up, right? And actually I didn't write that, so oh my gosh, you guys. Let me say 2 1/2 inches up here, right? Even though I said score 2 1/2, but I'm saying score 2 1/2 inches wide also. So up at 2 1/2 inches, you're going to cut 1 1/2 inch in, up at 2 1/2, all the way up to 7 1/2. Again, at 4 inches in, right, at 4 inches, 2.5, all the way up to 7.5. And then you're going to score between these two lines, which is basically 2.5 inches here, 7.5 inches there. But you also need to cut this, right? So that's how I designed it. I don't know if you want to do something different, you know, go for it. But that's what it is. And hopefully I can follow up with like another one. And hopefully this didn't confuse you. I think it's pretty easy, guys. It's just basically a 5x7 with a notch cut into it. And then you design a box that fits in whatever size notch you make. So let's say you want it 2 inches or 1.5, whatever it is you're going to make, pop it in there, you know. And yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye now.